Hello, everyone. This is Cheryl Cisneros with the Grassroots Oregon Go Project for the Oregon Developmental Disabilities Coalition. I am joined by Ross and Karen and Riley to talk with you today about how to expect the unexpected when meeting with your state legislators. We do a lot of things to prepare, and sometimes things just don't go as we planned. We have our experts here today on state advocacy who have been there and done that and seen a lot in their legislative advocacy careers. And we're going to hear a little bit about their experiences today. So you can prepare for anything now that you're going to hear from Ross and Karen and Riley. So Riley, I'll let you get us started.
All right. So I'm going to ask both of you this question to kick it off. What does it mean to be an advocate?
To be an advocate is learning how to become an advocate, to become an advocate, because you live every day of your life being an advocate. You help, to become an advocate, you help other people, and you get involved.
So it's about helping people, getting involved, and fighting.
Yeah.
Fighting
for what they want.
What about you,
in their
Ross?
lifespan.
It also means that you want to get the word out and show people that we can do what we say we want to do and how to be a better person and to fit in, like we said earlier in the first video, like everybody else. Just because we might do something different doesn't mean that we cannot fit in.
So we've had a lot of interesting experiences over the years of advocating together. We're going to talk about a few of those so people could hear how you two as experts deal with them. So Karen, could you share an example of when you're planning on meeting with a legislator and then they defer to a staff member?
Oh, to the staff member? Yeah, sometimes the staff can write down things for the legislators. And so what we do, we tell our stories to one of the staff, and they write our questions down and stuff like that. Like if we want good affordable housing, we talk about this. Somebody might say to the staff how jobs or transportation, and that's how we do the meeting.
Awesome. So just like what you said, even if you're meeting with a staff member, it's still important. It doesn't, and you know that message will get to the legislator they work for.
And follow up with some too.
Yeah, and another thing is not just being respectful to the people that work with the legislator, but also what about when a legislator might have to shorten your visit? All of a sudden it goes from being a 30-minute to 5 minutes. What do you do when that happens?
We can tell them, can we come back again another day? Because they might be busy at the legislators, and that's why you have to keep really calm and not worry about it, because it's always another day.
Yeah. So I want to ask both of you this question because you've both had the experience. I mean, you've experienced much of this together. What if a legislator cancels your legislative visit at the last minute?
What we need to do is get a business card from them, or could we follow up with some, like calling them back and say, could we set up another appointment?
Yeah. What about you, Ross? What do you do if a legislator cancels your visit?
I would normally ask the person that helps the legislator and see if we could talk to them, or see if there's another day that we could schedule the conversation with that representative or a House person.
Perfect. So try to find another time or see if
Mhm.
maybe you can meet with the staff. So that's perfect. Ross, I want to ask if you could share an example about when maybe you're talking about funding and then a legislator says, what should I cut then?
Normally, when I hear that, I usually go back to the topic and tell them that we're not asking you. We're gonna come here to discuss what programs to cut, because all programs are good. It just that some might need a little bit of funding to get us to where we think that is a good way to put us.
That's perfect. So you don't ever say propose a new or something else to cut to pay for your thing, right?
No,
Because
you
yeah,
always do not cut any other programs.
yeah, sometimes legislators, I've been in meetings where they said, well, where should I get money for that? What's your answer to that?
That we recommend again that you do not need to take anybody's funding away. We're just trying to get our funding so we can have our services. Without services, we would be back to where we were in 1969 through the 70s, where we'd be isolated more, we'd be in other homes and other things.
Yeah, I think you've also, we wouldn't say this to a legislator, but when it comes to revenue and raising money, that's a legislator's job partially.
Mhm.
So they're gonna come up with some good solutions, but that doesn't mean
Yes,
that people in meetings have
they
to.
doesn't come up to us.
Yeah, and you don't have to answer that question, which is perfect. You said it. So Ross, could you share an example of when you've been talking about developmental disability services, DD services, and when the legislator starts talking about something else? What do you do? Or maybe
I usually bring it back to the topic so we could get the point across that we are only here to discuss the disability services and the lack of funding. And we are part of the constituents. And this is what we are here to discuss. So I bring it back to the issue.
perfect. You kind of pivot back, right?
Yes, so I mentally pivot back to that same question.
I'm going to ask you both to share an example of when a legislator has done something unexpected. Karen, you want to go first?
Oh, yeah, and like touching your hair.
Did a legislator touch your hair?
Yeah, and says, oh, what a pretty curly hair you have. And you don't expect it, but it's not appropriate, But
Yeah,
you
what
can't get mad at the legislators. You gotta treat them like they were really nice.
Yeah, but I think when that meeting happened, you also had Ross to help you kind of pivot away from.
Yeah, he did. He said,
If I remember right,
I said, so, well, what about my hair? So my hair is straight.
yeah,
and then I
that
think,
was cute.
and then you
But
said-
it was not appropriate when we came in. We was gonna talk about how we can come in and have a meeting,
Yeah.
and then Ross kind of, you two are such a strong team when you're in meetings. Ross, if I remember right, Ross said, "My hair is straight. Can we get back to talking about disability?"
Yeah.
services?"
That's
Yeah,
what
I
was
heard,
trying
and
to
we
say.
did.
That's awesome.
So I kind of added that humor to where we were.
Yeah.
That's good.
Ross, I want to ask you an example of when a legislator has done something that you didn't expect.
He was saying that this is not story time, and I told him that we are not here to do a story. We are here to talk to you, that we want our services, when without our services, we will not be in the community and fitting in. Period.
That's perfect. Because, you know, that not story hour, hearing the legislator say that, I think that would make a lot of people nervous to ever do a meeting, but you handled it perfectly. And
Yeah, you did,
been on way.
Ross, and I remember you were in the meeting and I was with you guys.
yeah. So, wow, those are two examples, and you shared other examples. I guess, how do you continue to be professional and respectful and not show frustration when unexpected things like that happen?
Well, we just can't, it doesn't help to do that because it helps us to be the bigger person to not do that. And we have to show our respect to the legislators because sometimes they have off days too sometimes.
Yeah, they're just like,
You know.
So, Ross, I'm going to ask you a question. What if you disagree politically with the legislator or upset with current issues?
I usually had to just hold it back and then discuss the topic that I'm there for, or I've been known to just listen and then just kind of mentally hold myself back so I won't get frustrated and mad, because that would not be what we are there for.
And then, you know, what if a legislator asks you a question you don't know the answer?
And then we would tell them that we would get back to you with the information when we know a little bit more of what you are asking us.
Perfect. You don't have to answer any question, you know, and you can always say that. You can say, I don't know, but I'll get back to you and get their information and follow up.
Yes.
So as we wrap up, I want to ask one more question of the both of you.
Okay, you get asked me, Riley.
Okay, you're first. What's your advice for people who might be worried that one of these things will happen to them?
Just follow up with people and maybe research it, you know, because you can always research it and come back.
Karin, I think every single one of these things has happened to you, right?
Yeah.
And you have been one of the strongest advocates in the building. And now you're going to be the strongest advocate over Zoom.
Yeah, because you have to research it. And you have to watch your daily news, so they might have some things upon of it on the legislator.
But you know, the pep talk you'd have for people is that they can do it, right?
They can do it.
Ross, what's your advice for people who might be worried something unexpected is going to happen in a meeting?
I usually tell them you don't need to worry, because in life, sometimes you don't always have control over what goes on, depending on what you are doing. Like, for example, like I'm doing a puzzle on Zoom while everybody else is looking at the camera and focusing.
Yeah.
And this is something that I do to help myself. And on the receiving end, that might be like that I'm not paying attention, which I am. That's for like an example.
Those are great examples. Riley, thank you for walking us through that. Karin and Ross, thank you for sharing your expertise and your experiences with us. Wow, you've been through a lot as you have been advocating for yourselves and on behalf of other Oregonians across the state who experience developmental disabilities and their families. Thank you both for your advocacy efforts and your work. You both are amazing. Riley, you're awesome. Thank you all. And we hope that this prepares you for anything that can happen in a legislative visit. We'd love to hear your stories about how your visits go. You can contact the Go Project through the Oregon Developmental Disabilities website at orddcoalition.org. And you can also find us on Facebook, where you can catch the other video that we mentioned. And thank you all, and let's go.
Let's go. High five. Did we do good?
We did great.